last game of the night, which
Yes.
is Hunu? Hunu?
Hunu.
Hunu?
Hunu.
The Hunu? Against
Yep.
Turnipboy.
Yes. A little more phonetic, that one. Yeah. I think I'm pretty sure that's how you say Turnipboy. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm anxious to see these picks and bans. Turnipboy, for those who don't remember or don't know, one of the biggest players in Challenger last season, made it very far in the Challenger tournament. I want to say second, actually, that they just missed the cutoff for automatic promotion in the regular season and just missed the victory for automatic promotion in the tournament to Lazy Bear. But Turnipboy, just one of the better Challenger players. And if you remember Challenger last season, you know that's saying something.
Oh my god, Challenger was insane.
It really was. It really was.
Challenger is always scary. It's a good thing
Yep.
that we destroyed it this season.
Yes, we destroyed it because it was too powerful. It works totally differently now. It is for in-season signups if you're watching, by the way. Challenger only for in-season signups, which means you can right now go to spypartyfans.com/signups and throw your rifle into the ring and join and maybe be cast on this very channel.
Yep. So Hunu starts us off with banning library. Too sad for library.
Oh, well.
Man, we haven't got to see any library
Yeah.
tonight.
Turnipboy bans the newest map, TN. No,
No TN. Yeah.
no love. But now we're right back to gallery.
Oh, goodness.
Okay.
Here we go.
But
Library has been pretty nuts tonight.
after that,
Yeah.
we're going to have 4 games on modern,
Ooh.
All right.
followed by High Rise, and then rounding us out is good old Courtyard. Everyone's favorite.
I feel like
map.
these players coordinated some of their picks and bans tonight, but I'm still looking forward to it. Yes, even gallery.
Even gallery.
Even gallery.
Even gallery.
I have everything ready. Game is loading. Stinger is broken, but that's fine.
That's okay.
Opening up
Yep.
here, Turnipboy on the spy side of gallery against Hunu. This should be a fun one in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Now, I wonder if for Turnipboy, it's just one of those things. This happens to players sometimes. They just don't quite manage to practice as much as they wanted to by the time the SCL starts. And if that's the case, the new crazy venue, Tayen, is the first one you're going to want to go. So it might just be a safety thing. You know, I haven't had time to really study this enough yet. I know all the other venues already. So let's just simplify this in my return.
Absolutely. Opening up with a fingerprintable briefcase. Not something you usually see this early in a map.
No, it's pretty unusual, but I like it. You know, it's kind of like the opening flirt in the same sense. You know, that you don't have to rush it late. You give yourself those choices.
More obvious, though.
It is definitely a little more obvious, yeah. And especially when you see the party here, just 2 really full conversations. This actually would have been a really good time to Banana Bread instead. A particularly good time for Gallery. But I mean, not a lot of mission movement other than Turnipboy running around with that briefcase.
And then going into statues for a pair of inspects, making himself very, very visible early on.
Yeah, just lean into it, I guess. I mean, there's a lot of occlusion there for sure. Turnipboy, by the way, one of the handful of people in SCL last season whose spy win rate was almost as high as their sniper win rate. It was actually higher for a few characters, but not many. About 60% for both.
That is a very impressive stat.
Yeah, and 34% mission wins too, and out of all their spy games.
God.
So yeah, Turnipboy gets things done is the point, and you're seeing that right here.
Gets the second fingerprint off of this green book, so that's a mission completion already, and a long one at that. No seduce yet, though.
Yeah, no seduce is a real big problem, but, you know, if it doesn't line up early like this, and you don't think you can 2-flirt, I don't know, I think inspect swap maybe? I think maybe you say forget it to the seduce.
Contact has come off on a very busy back conversation. Unfortunately, the front one was dead.
Yeah, that's pretty rough, and that narrows the party down a fair bit. I just don't think you're a huge suspect right now. I think your fingerprint, at least the book one, might be free. I just don't know if they're going to be staring you down for the inspect swap at this point in the game, too.
I agree. Look at all of these lowlights, though. That's so many lowlights.
That's going to be the plan. That's going to be the plan. And I get it, because here's the thing. It's really hard to get away with if suspect or the timing is very suspicious. But when it happens around a minute and you're not a huge suspect already, are they really going to be staring you down for it? Maybe.
Well, there it is. It's right on camera. Did he not see it?
I think he looked away.
I don't think he saw it. 2 seconds. 1 second.
Oh.
He takes the shot. It took too long to start moving.
Just enough. He was on him. I'm very impressed. I think maybe goes a little bit earlier. It's a different story. I like the decision just fine. I think he played a really solid game. The problem is people credit Flirt even when it would have been almost impossible. The banana bread, the silent game is much more powerful on Gallery. But I think just a solid game from Turnipboy and just better sniping from Hunu.
So too, but that is a really good shot from Hunu. I think if Turnipboy started moving and left Hunu like a quarter of a second to get an unobstructed look of that statue, he might not have been able to get the shot off in time.
Yeah, you might be right. But he was definitely on him as soon as he arrived, too, which is very interesting. So good stuff from Hunu.
That was a great sniper game from Hunu. I'm very impressed with that. But Turnipboy is going to have something to say himself from the sniper side as Hunu picks up the spy role in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, Hunu actually did make their debut in the Winter Cup. They were in my group, Group 8 in the group stages. Did not emerge from those, but I remember I left feeling moderately impressed, and you can see why there.
Opening the game with a time ad at the front. If you are given that spawn, you may as well take it.
Yeah, although Toby has a highlight already. Watch out, Toby. You don't see that very often, do you? I do not. You do not see the Toby highlight as a standard move. And the Ambassador low light. Turnipboy, what are you doing? I guess it works for them.
Well, if the Ambassador's low lit, it creates a bigger contrast between them and the people who could bug him, which are not the people who are low lit.
I guess so. I wonder why it's not more popular.
Yeah. Either way, 34% off of the first Flirt. Smallman's second target, by the way, and look where he is, at the back of the frickin' conversation.
Now, whenever Smallman's the seduction target, there's a decent chance the spy chose them to be that way because that's the only role you can pick that guarantees they're not going to be cast, other than spy. So sometimes if you want Smallman in the party and you want to be absolutely sure he's not an SDA, you have to make him your seduction target.
What was that, Smallman? That was confusing.
Most of what he does is, yeah.
Red Flirt, though, to send him away for good this time.
I mean, if Smallman's in the party and he's not you, you definitely want... But I would still take the Flirt, personally. Apparently half our chat highlights Toby. My god, am I the only one who doesn't, actually?
2.5 minutes on the clock. We just have that one Flirt still. And that was a long painting visit into another painting visit. What's Hunu looking for here?
Playing a very un-Turnipboy-like game, and, you know, that's pretty viable if the AIs do enough. Oh, I don't know about that repath. What was that about? Was that supposed to be faking a briefcase?
Well, does grab a fingerprint and a pair of inspects here with 2 minutes to play. Bear in mind, did get that early time ad, so still has time to work with here.
Yeah, but has burned a lot of it already, certainly admiring the... And now admiring the street.
Just barely Smallman hangs around long enough to let that Flirt come off. 85% is where we're at, which is very, very comfortable. Even the worst possible Flirt in the entire game will still be enough.
Yeah, it's the second time Smallman has stayed at Windows just long enough for the spy to Flirt tonight.
But time is running out. We don't have a single mission completion yet, and 1:15 on the clock.
I think you might want to time at again here. There's no other reason to go outside here.
Except for the Flirt.
I guess. Surprised
There's
they're chasing
the Flirt
it.
done.
I actually didn't even see him, to be honest with you. I keep forgetting where he is.
It's Smallman, damn it.
Yeah, it's not my fault.
Nobody expects Smallman. Well, everybody expects Smallman, just nobody sees him.
Yeah. You expect him to be visible, and he's not.
45 seconds. 1 mission completion and 2 inspects is all we have to work with. What's the play here?
I think the play is Maybe time at again. I just don't see how an inspect swap is going to do anything here. You're just hoping you're framing somebody, but trying to think if someone was even at that statue recently. I think
We
it's
don't
just...
have that second mission completion. There's the inspect swap,
Oh
but
my
he still
goodness.
needs another mission, and he
No.
gets shot anyways. Turnip Boy is on top of things.
If you're on the sniper side, and I think Wodar was there, that is the clearest look at a swap fade I have ever seen on Gallery, maybe. Turnipboy was double zoomed in when Alice held it to the left, and the fade could not have been more apparent. High confidence
Oh my
shot.
god, yeah, you're not wrong.
That was the easiest shot you're ever going to take.
Wow.
I think Hunu's plan was, I'm going to time ad and hope they shoot someone, unless stuff lines up maybe. Then when it doesn't, I just have to decide to actually finish, and you just decide about 20 or 30 seconds too late.
Yeah, I guess so.
All right.
1-1 is the current scoreline as we run it back to Gallery once more. Turnip Boy on the spy, Hunu on the sniper. In 3, 2, 1, play.
And that's 2 sniper wins, but they felt pretty different. One felt a lot closer than the other.
That is very true.
Snipers
Turnip
on
Boy
point so
really
far.
felt like he was on top of that one.
Yeah. And it wasn't even the last mission, so it wouldn't have mattered. The only way he loses
51.
that is if he thinks somebody else swapped it and he doesn't get a good look at the fade. That's the only way that works.
Absolutely. 51% on the first flirt is always nice on this map because it's the scariest map for Seduce.
And we saw Turnipboy lose a game abandoning flirt completely and getting away with a hard tell.
This is true. Lots of cover for that arm if he wants to take the microfilm out, but does not.
Green shelf, green clothes. I don't know. You got a lot of cover there. You got the waiter there, the unhighlit Toby even. So I don't know, but Turnipboy's gonna decide not to do it that way.
Second flirt brings us up to 84%. In conversation with the double agent as well. Lots of people in conversations at this point. Lots of people not though as well.
Yeah, this is a standard gallery trade, and it's pretty tough.
Banana bread.
He does wind up taking it, but just a moment too late. The double agent leans down to return the briefcase, I think, right as the ambassador arrives, and it knocks her out of conversation, so the double agent does not get contacted. That hurts.
Yeah,
But
yep.
Turnip Boy still has that book.
Yep, this is another way to clean the book. You just say banana bread and magically it's clean again, and I think it covered there. And not only that, it's out. Even though the banana bread was rough and didn't take, Hunu did not get a crazy amount of lowlights from it. In fact, one of the lowlights, Salmon, got a highlight for going to statues. They weren't confident of their conversation position. So Turnip Boy actually kind of got away with something there, I think. I think that actually worked out surprisingly well.
Only 2 non-cast lowlights in the entire party at this point. 1:30 left to play as Turnip Boy steps outside. For God dang it, double agent, why you do this? Get back here.
Gotta run right back in, I think. There's not a whole lot else out for you here.
Alright, well, back inside we go.
And the seduction target is outside.
Oh, look at that bug, but it wasn't enough. Hunu sees it. It was such a pretty bug, but it wasn't invisible.
Look at the sniper camera. The only thing that moves is the hand. The hand vanishes and then pops back into existence.
I know.
That's all that happens. Couldn't resist. Got away, I think, completely clean with the microfilm. Was running a little low on time, but that's normal for Gallery. I think it's just those bugs of opportunity. They're so hard to consider. You only have a half second to consider them. And if you had more than half a second, you might often decide not to do them.
But in that situation, you might, that was a beautiful position for a bug.
Yeah, it just turns out that Hunu was staring again, is the thing.
That was an impressive catch. Yeah. Hunu's sniper game has really been something to see.
Hunu was so impressed by that bug that they shot the spy for it.
Yeah. All right. On we go.
On we go indeed. Hunu holding on to this lead as the yo-yo contest continues. This time on the spy, Turnip Boy on the sniper. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, these are really strong sniper games from Hunu. The spy game would look a little rough, and it'll be interesting to see if they can improve on it here. And you got to figure Turnipboy is going to get something by them because they are getting away with individual missions. They got away clean, I think, with fingerprint and microfilm already. They just can't quite finish. They're just a lot closer to finishing. Hunu is still catching the very last mission, very impressively, though.
Absolutely. We'll see if Hunu's able to keep up the sniper pace, but for now, he's sitting in the spy shoes, in the back conversation, with no one he particularly wants to be talking with.
No one interesting in this conversation, and I would say this spy in particular wearing very flattering shoes. Look at those things, brown and white. I
Very
can't pull
nice
that off.
shoes.
I can't pull that off at all.
Difficult fingerprint. He's got 34% on the flirt. Does not hit the fingerprint, though.
I like the choice. I like trying for it, but now you missed it, and now you got to make different choices.
Yeah,
At least you know.
Especially early on in the game like that, there's no reason not to go for a difficult fingerprint. Too far off for the bug, but I don't think that's getting seen in a million years.
Yeah, tried to do that JD bug that we saw earlier, and that's the downside of it, right? Is that when you go right on the edge like that, sometimes you misjudge by a pixel or two, and the bug doesn't take.
Into green bookcase and out of it again with book in hand. Clean it. All the way out front it goes.
And you could clean it on one of these painting pads. It wouldn't be that bad. Come on. Well, did not wait very long.
Nope, it wasn't a very thorough cleaning.
No. Quick and dirty, emphasis on the dirty.
Second flirt underway, 68% right now. Minute and 30 to play and no completions as of yet.
Somebody should time how long it takes to take the book, walk all the way outside, and walk back in. I'll bet you people would be shocked at the actual number.
It's a long time, but also it depends on the character.
Yeah, absolutely.
Do not take the microfilm out. You don't have time for this.
Yeah, you got to walk this over to blue. Or you're not finishing, I don't think.
Why? We're still just there. That was a long painting visit. Something was very interesting about that solid blue rectangle.
It's abstract, you see. It's about death. Yeah. And we're going back outside. What is happening? It's time ad. I mean, if you're going to time ad, this is actually...
It has to be a time ad. Yeah, here it is. White test. On camera, it looked like there was some reaction there. Has it down to 2. It's down to 2.
Yep, and hair's already a highlight, so there's a chance she's going to be accommodating here, but they don't know it. Hunu doesn't know it. That's the only way they're going to win this game.
Got low lit.
Even Toby. Toby, who is almost definitely the spy. 3 at shelves.
Oh,
it's
God,
at the wrong shelf.
That's death.
All over it. So I don't mind the decision to go for the time ad. It's just, A, you want to hit the green, or B, you got to hope Turnipboy doesn't notice it. But I do like that they figured out long before the 20 or 30 seconds, okay, I'm clearly going to run out of time. I think they should have done it one gallery pad earlier, though.
Yeah, I agree.
I have a question.
Yes.
Were they cleaning the book too much? Was that the problem in that game?
Too clean. Book too clean. That's the...
Book too clean.
Book too clean. That's the only issue.
On to modern.
We found the problem.
Yes.
Turnipboy on the spy side, looking to see if he can finally slip something by Hunu's impressive sniper. This time, in a different venue. It's modern, any 5 of 8. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, nice change of pace.
Yeah.
We've not seen this tonight.
Turnipboy succumbs to the call of the seduction target early on in the game, picks up 51%, and is going to grab a pair of inspects while he's at it. Unfortunately, also grabs a highlight.
Yeah, pretty standard, though. And you see 2 other early statue visitors, no problem. Turnipboy is going to do a lot of things, but timeout is not usually one of them, so making early progress, very on brand.
Early progress is very nice on any of the 5 of 8 maps. just having options later in the game is very important.
Yeah, especially on Modern. It's a little harder to rush here. This, like Gallery, very big, takes a long time to move. It's just a little more obvious here.
Look at this! And found the seduction target again, this time at the bar, and hits the 2 flirt. This is a strong start from Turnipboy.
Now, you really want to think about a rush here. There are a lot of options. If you can delegate into inspect swap or something like that, get a quick banana bread, things get really interesting. You can really rush this, and who's going to shoot on Modern like that? That's pretty rough.
Absolutely. Still 3 minutes to play. There's so much left to do here.
I want the banana bread, delegate, inspect, swap, boom, 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 and dare him to shoot you with 2+ minutes on the clock.
Well, it looks like you want it, but the double agent wasn't having it.
Yeah, that's going to be hard, and the double agent's not going anywhere near them. They can't really do it.
Fake contact! What?
Is it going to cover for the delegate?
I assume.
Nope, not yet.
I'm confused.
I wonder if it was a misclick with
Maybe
that
that
delegate.
was supposed to be a delegate, and it just wasn't?
Yeah, I'm not sure.
No, it was a delegate, because the purloin just happened.
There it goes. Okay, good. So, gets highlight for it. The Londo does, rather, the actual purloiner. And Wheels is still not in conversation. So if you were trying to rush finish, still not an option unless you want to do something else.
Indeed.
And the Amba is just not having it. They're wide open in the middle of the map.
Yeah. Amba is actually watching his back this time. He knows something's up. 2 minutes to play.
And I think Hunu's actually got this moderately narrowed down.
Yeah, it's looking good. Huge number of lowlights, only 3 highlights. One of them is the Ambassador, and the other one's Turnipboy.
Yeah, that's pretty rough, and I'm just not seeing a lot of party activity from those non-lowlights either.
Minute and 30 to play. Turnipboy looked like he was in a great position at the beginning of this game, but that was assuming he could make it happen quickly. Now that he hasn't, it's becoming very dangerous. A good bug on the way through. Somehow managed to hit the perfect angle to keep Hunu from seeing it. That was very impressive.
So now you probably don't want to inspect swap now. You've already done a fake BB, so it's not going to be a silent game. And the DA picks up a briefcase. Still can't do that. I would do the inspects now.
God damn it, you bastard double agent.
Again, doesn't know who the spy is. Doesn't know he's not helping. Oh boy,
And
just the second
shot
statue visit.
comes off. Yeah, Hunu, I think as soon as the double agent bailed on us, everything fell apart from Turnipboy.
I think so. It just let Hunu be confident that they've whittled the party down. They had it narrowed down from that. They had it down to a couple possible purloiners maybe. And at that point, it's just, again, that chicken game. Are you going to go to statues again? And when you do, you're dead. Didn't even wait for him to pick it up. Clearly was just waiting for that.
Yeah. Another very well played game of sniper by Hunu here. Turnipboy not able to break him yet. Let's see what happens as Hunu steps into the spy role. In 3, 2, 1, playing.
But that hasn't been the issue. It's been Hunu on spy. Turnipboy seems so close to getting these wins by, and it's just not happening. Hunu doesn't seem quite as close, and that's just not going to work unless you're playing for a tie. Because then you're basically saying, I'm going to lose all my spy games, and I just have to make sure Turnipboy doesn't quite sneak these out, even though he's getting away with individual missions sometimes.
This is true. Very nice removal of the microfilm from Red Bookcase there. Lots of cover with the seduction target of all people. 34% on the flirt and red film in pocket is a very good start.
Yeah, seduction target pulling double duty there.
Speaking of the seduction target, decides to get friendly.
Boy, that's
so
helpful.
We've got another flirt on our hands. This one's green for 85%.
And remember, red, probably one of the hardest bookshelves to get away with that action test transfer from.
Absolutely.
And it sure looks like Turnipboy is paying a lot of attention in particular to Twin, potentially doing microfilm.
That was a weird little spin on the way into Green Bookcase, but lots and lots of cover here. This is going to be almost impossible to see. Actually, now Turnipboy positioning to try to get a good look at that arm, and
Yeah.
Hunu not able to get that microfilm transfer off.
And you see the ambassador come up near you. Now you know, even though we know Turnipboy was already watching microfilm close, now you know they must be with the ambassador right there. Just not a good time. It's unfortunate you wasted some time there, but I think it's better than trying to force it.
And now you've been seen at both bookcases, so there's some suspicion.
You could lose a little bit of heat if you go back to green, though.
This is true.
Potentially. So it depends. You're going to get another opportunity with some occlusion at green. I would try to get some other things done and maybe do that a little bit later. I think finishing your microfilm at the end of Modern with a lot of movement walking around can actually be pretty effective.
Who finishes up that flirt, has Double Agent in the conversation, lots of people in. There's the contact, 2 low lights. I think there was at least a third available, but didn't get taken. One of them was Hylet. That's a very good contact on Modern.
I think Turnip could have had as many as 4 or 5 and got maybe 2. That's pretty solid. And Hunu does indeed go back to green. And if they can time
pass through conversation, gets a fingerprint off of the book. This is a beautiful time to do it. Now Turnipboy starting to come around. It's a green test though, and there is too much cover. Turnipboy is not going to see that. 3 missions complete and a fingerprint in the pocket. Now we step into statues for a difficult fingerprint on the second one. Can we hit it?
That'd be big. Big moment here. You're going to finish fingerprint one way or the other. It's clearly what you want to do. What's interesting to me, what's interesting to me is kind of committing yourself to that statue thing, like you want to finish Inspecs and not Purloin. You really want to go back, though.
Well, he did hit a pair of fingerprints, but couldn't... So he did hit a pair of Inspecs, but couldn't hit the difficult fingerprint. Lots of progress at this point. We need 1 Inspect and 1 fingerprint, but there's only a minute to play. Here's the Inspect coming.
It's a pretty big moment. If you get away with this, you gotta imagine there's a pretty deep chance you get away with 1 fingerprint in the last minute.
Statues were pretty back-to-back. Turnipboy looks like his eyes are elsewhere, although Hunu is on the screen.
And the ambassador is just sitting there, but if you go cozy up next to them, it's a little suspicious, but they're gonna put that briefcase down, and then it's the game.
Cozy up.
Watching very close.
Zoomed right in on it. There's no way we're getting this by, even though the angle's good.
But you have to take the briefcase. An AI would do it here. You have to take
exactly what he's doing. Takes the briefcase. Is this enough to take a shot off? No reaction from Turnipboy yet. Is this the opening Hunu needs?
Yep, I don't think he knows.
This is beautiful. Hunu finally breaks away from Turnipboy after being on the cusp for so long. It's 4-2 now.
Just when you need it. Who knew? Indeed. I think all they needed was a bit of luck in the beginning. The seduction target, there's the flirt, covers the microfilm, then chases them to conversation, and that opens up the game in a way they haven't had it open up for them so far before. They've been too hesitant. But in this case, does it a lot differently. That little advantage in the beginning ripples throughout the rest of the game. I don't think Turnipboy had them down for a single fingerprint at the beginning. I think they figured that was 1 at most, and or was just not looking for it late.
That was a very strong game of Spy from Hunu, but Turnipboy has been having some very strong Spy play as well. Let's see if he can finally convert one. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
Yeah, that is a side of Hunu we have not seen this match. Again, got a little AI luck in the beginning, but they had to do an awful lot after that. They were really spurred on by it. Like the momentum for the rest of the game was just very positive, and they just didn't play scared this time at all.
Turnipboy right in the corner on the green bookcase. Very spy-heavy position, it seems. Picks up the seduction right next to him and grabs a green purloin as well. That is another strong start from Turnipboy on the Spy side.
Yeah, it feels very similar to the last game. You get the microfilm in pocket and 34% on the flirt. It's at a slightly easier shelf, but it's still a very similar start.
Stepping into the bar now, likely to pick up a delegate. That is indeed what happens. Although, I don't think the bar has been particularly busy so far.
Just a few early on. There were a lot of people at Windows, so it depends on what kind of attention Hunu's been paying to it.
Nice to have the option, though, at least for a little while. Steps in for the next flirt, 66% off of this one. We're going to have to get nice and cozy for the third one if we don't want to have to get ourselves a green test.
And it's going to be Taft.
Is indeed.
And the moment of truth is usually, if they don't nail you for, pretty hard to nail someone dead to rights on Purloin on Darren if it's done decently. How narrowed down do they get this party? Has not seen it yet, I don't think.
There's a fair bit of cover just by way of being Taft.
And I see one low light. No, that was a cast member. Oh boy, have they even seen it? Or are they even expecting it?
I don't know. I think that could have been a pretty clean Purloin. And yes, he does get highlight, but that's for statues, I think, as he steps here to pick up a pair of inspects.
Wow. Wow, I think maybe just was not expecting it at that point. And here,
well, really big.
There's a few. Okay, 2. Any others? 3, 4, 5. I don't know how high percentage these are, though. If they're tentative, that could hurt you. So far, they're all correct, though.
Yeah, there's a lot of these. There's the flirt done.
7 so far.
2 minutes to play. So far, Purloin is done, Seduce is done, Green Microfilm in pocket, and 2 inspects, although we do have that highlight, and we're picking up Briefcase.
Well, okay, you've got partial progress on 2 other missions, so this could be the third, the last one you need. I like that little move. Look at that little step.
It's the little things that can make things work out in SpyParty, and that was a nice one of those little things.
And that's a fingerprintable book, too. Oh, my goodness. And are they going to do the microfilm? Big moment of truth.
White, but it's kind of behind the general on the briefcase here. That was a beautiful bit of cover at the last second, and that was a pretty clean microfilm. 1 minute to play, 1 inspect, and that's it.
Now, General kind of bent over a little bit, and it was more visible than you'd want. If you were watching closely, you still get nabbed for it. But if you're not watching closely, if you're watching anything else, that bit of cover makes all the difference. And now, it's just an inspect for the win, and that is not a free thing, though. This game is not over. How people react on Modern, how snipers react to the second statue visitors is a big, big deal.
Contact, it's not going to be.
Wow.
I like this idea. I don't think you can survive another statue visit.
Here's the contact
coming off. It's a red test! Oh no!
As it happens, he shoots the wrong person!
Right before the contact! Oh my god! That could have gone so incredibly differently at the end there.
Who knew?
Turnipboy makes it happen.
Have you ever heard the phrase, snatches defeat from the jaws of victory? I think that's what happens when you shoot someone as a red test banana bread is going off. Oh, the timing is so brutal. And what did I say earlier, by the way? What did I say earlier about the timing for shooting people as they approach a statue versus after they pick it up? In this case, that flipped the outcome. Absolutely flipped the outcome. He hadn't even picked up the statue yet. If you wait a few more seconds, even until he could theoretically be done with 1 inspect, you still have 10 seconds after that, and you would have heard a cough, and the whole game would have changed. Brutal.
Oh my god, the timing on that is brutal.
Yeah. Hunu, with a rare mistake, gives. They finally get their spy victory, and they give it right back.
Oh my, we got one more on Modern, ladies and gentlemen. Turnipboy is back in this. If Hunu can find another one on the spy side, I would be very impressed. But he's done it once. Let's see if he can do it again in 3, 2, 1, playing it.
I think it's harder to get something by someone like that the more you play them as spy. It's more about trickery. You benefit more from short sets. It's actually kind of like pitchers in baseball. Pitchers, their numbers get worse against batters the second or third time through the order in a game. The idea being the more they see you, the more the batter's going to have the advantage in the long run. Same kind of thing with snipers. You sneak something by them like that in one spy game, they get to see that mission win. They have a much better idea looking at that replay how you're playing. It's going to be a lot harder to get this one.
And unlike most of the spy games we've seen throughout this entire set, this one's starting up by the book, just stepping into conversation with the seduction target, grabbing that 34% flirt and then going to do something else. In this case, that's the briefcase for the first fingerprint.
Yeah, and sometimes if you pick up the briefcase while the Amba's busy like that and put it right back down, especially on a big, busy venue like this, sometimes you just get a free fingerprint. As we saw, a free fingerprint was probably one of the reasons Hunu won that last spy game.
Absolutely. It's worked for him once, why not do it again? And now stepping into the statue for both another flirt up to 68% and a pair of inspects. Actually, just the one inspect, but that's fine.
That's a decent start, but already, Turnipboy just seems to have good control of this party, and Hunu is already a little bit of a suspect, of course, but partial progress across the board. The thing is, they're looking to play maybe the same kind of game they played last time.
Already a pair of lowlights. Hunu is the only highlight, but it's not a very powerful highlight, just for statue visit. Now stepping in to the bar to get a drink and prepare the purloin. Iris just came from bar as well, so we might be able to follow her out, and nope, never mind, she's going way the hell off into the corner where she wants to be antisocial.
That's not very helpful. And
No,
2.5 minutes
not.
left. Partial progress like this looks good, but remember, this is modern. You need to get 5, and you need to walk around a lot.
Indeed. And even though we do have a lot of progress, we do not have any completions yet. Hunu is looking to fix that right here with this flirt. There it is. One mission done. One inspect and one fingerprint in the pocket as well. There's the delegate. Let's see how Turnipboy reacts to this. Actually, I think there's a bit of lineup here. I'm not sure if this is even going to come off.
Yeah, and this game is just sort of falling apart here a little bit. I think you're going to have to hope an AI does something. It doesn't look like you're going to be able to finish unless things line up really well, really quick.
Yeah, delegate timer expired, unfortunately. Not able to make it happen. Hunu's back in for another drink. And this is actually going to take a while to get to Hunu, so there's a fair bit of time wasted here. Time that we cannot afford with 1 minute and 15 seconds left, and still only the one completion, and not that much else to work with. Just takes it straight up. That is a bold play.
I kind of like it. I think at this point you're already leaning into the idea of getting somebody else shot anyway. So
Yeah,
I don't like that it got to this point, but I like that decision.
Once you're here, you may as well.
I wouldn't try to finish at this point. I think that time has passed.
You may as well hit the contact, though.
Yep.
Just to put some pressure on Turnipboy, and that's exactly what happens. 3 completions at this point that we're probably not going to finish, as you said. 35 seconds to play.
It's going to knock out 2 highlights, though, including Salmon, who I think has been to statue twice. Turnipboy not really bothering with the lowlights, at least not right away, but...
Oh, Hunu is going to try to finish this. I think might be... You can't swap this statue, Hunu.
I don't see how this is going to work. You're going to run out of time. In fact, you're probably going to go into overtime. It's going to take a little to do all of it. It doesn't even work.
Just takes the shot straight up. Turnipboy is a force to be reckoned with on Sniper. Hunu's gotten by him once, but it's not going to be easy to do it again.
I think Hunu made the right decision originally to just sort of direct, and I think at that point you have to be willing to time out, and it might pay dividends in the game. I know that sounds rough, but I just don't see how you're going to win that game.
After a pair of spy wins, it's 4 apiece. Turnipboy on the spy. On high rise, any 3 of 5. No swap, no transfer, no purloin. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
And chat rightly pointing out that was another quick shot on statue visit. Could have waited. Could have waited. I'm not saying wait till 9.9 seconds. You know, I actually think that's a huger mistake, if that's a word. Certain players are good at that. Noob's pretty good at it. Bacon's particularly good at shooting right at the end of it. Good for them. For everyone else, you got to wait 7 or 8. There's almost no reason not to, unless you're dead positive. And you know what? I know for a fact you weren't there. So we've already seen it hurt once. Wait a few seconds. Let's just split the difference. Say 5, just to be safe.
Once this set, a couple of times this evening.
Yeah, and that's rare. I'll grant you that's rare. But come on, a few extra percentage points here and there. If it wins you one game out of 20, one game out of 50.
That's worth it.
Yeah, especially with how close some of these matches have been. Wouldn't you love to have that game right now?
No kidding. Fingerprint on the drink is a very big plus for Turnipboy because those are not easy to track.
Yeah, a little easier on 3-5. Certainly Hunu should be able to track them, but if anything gets missed, that's usually the first kind of print to get missed.
Oh, hello, Ambassador. We have a drink in our hand. This is fine. There's no danger here.
Yeah, at that point, you just hope the sniper knows.
We're in a talking animation. We can't bug in a talking animation.
That'd be absurd.
Second flirt has come off, up to 76, with one fingerprint and 2 minutes to play.
Yeah, these high-rise games have been as chill as the gallery games have been insane.
You're not wrong.
I mean, we could just have moderately interesting games the whole way. We don't have to do the...
I don't know. I think having a few
breathers,
bouts of insanity is good for the cast.
And then we just sort of chill out on high-rise.
We just got highlight for rejecting a drink.
All right.
God, no! You can't do that, Turnip Boy. I appreciate the attempt, but you can't. You can't. You just can't.
And if you try, the penalty is death. Well, that was quick.
Yep, that was indeed certainly not the powerhouse spy play we've seen from Turnip Boy so far. Although
I don't have a big problem with it.
I'm gonna be honest; it was a strong start to that one as well.
Yeah, I don't have a big problem with it exactly. You're basically betting the game on it. If you get away with a bug on high rise 3-5, you win the game.
I mean, yeah, but that bug?
I understand. I know. I probably thought better of it later, but in general, sometimes you see a very rough bug on high rise, and it works. I've gotten away with some pretty bad bugs. So aggression for its own sake, sometimes its own justification. Yeah.
Either way, Hunu still edging out in front of that yo-yo contest. It's been pretty back and forth, although one of those was a pair of spy wins, which was exciting. Hunu on the spy side this time. This is a good place for it in 3, 2, 1, playing.
Yeah, and since that weird mission setup early on with Purloin on, I don't think anyone's done that since in any matches. They've all standard loadout.
Indeed. I love the fact that you can pet the dog. It's so good.
It's very good, yes. And that the dog hides in a bulletproof purse, you guys. You cannot shoot the dog. Why would you even want to try? What's wrong? Stop it.
34% on the first flirt, and in conversation with the double agent. But this early on, no reason to hit that unless other people start getting in conversations as well.
Yeah, I mean, it was one person out of conversation, but the problem was you only had a couple people in the other one, and you really want a semi-even distribution, maybe. You want to make sure the SDA's in there. You want to play the odds if you can. So even though it wasn't a terrible time, it's not the kind of CC distribution you'd like for that.
There's plenty of time to see if you can find something better. Yeah. White test again on the second flirt brings us up to 68. Plenty of time on this map. Looks like he's just going to hang out in this conversation with the section target and the double agent, wait for people to either get in conversation or for the flirtation cooldown to wear off. It's a good place to be.
Yeah, and an age-appropriate coupling, too.
Indeed. 2 minutes to play. Still a lot of time. There's the cooldown, there's the flirt, and there's our first mission completion. Minute and 40 now.
Banana bread.
Oh no! At the last possible second, the double agent steps away!
And 3 people get highlighted as possible real BBers. I mentioned that earlier, how powerful that can be late in the game to decide, figure out who's going to be finished, rather than just crediting anyone in conversation, anyone done with flirt, that kind of thing. So it might actually still kind of work out for Hunu here. We'll see. But they have no contact, no fingerprint, no inspects.
Still a minute to play, though. This is like, we've used a lot of time on this map anyways, but it's still definitely doable as we step in to statues here at the far side. Probably going to pick up a fingerprint from this as well as a pair of inspects. With 45 seconds to play, it's going to be a tight race.
Yeah, you're going to have to hurry. You really don't want to be finishing up at the very end. The fingerprint makes things interesting, but is the ambassador really going to accommodate?
It's statue to statue, though. 30 seconds.
They're going to have to BB at the end here, and it's just going to be so spy-like to jump into this conversation. They're going to bug instead.
Bug! No, that was like he was there. Turnipboy was on top of it.
Yeah.
Bug for a bug.
Yeah, right through the spleen. Pretty obvious, too. It wasn't even just the bug path. You know, the hand disappears into the character, and you know they probably bugged, but you don't see it. It was actually visible,
it's just, there it is. It's hi.
Hi. Say hello. All right.
Say hello to my bullet.
And we are still tied.
We're still tied.
And we're going into courtyard.
All right. It's 5-5. Last 2 games. Turnipboy opening up on the spy side. If there was a game to make it happen, this is it. Turnipboy has been on the cusp basically every single spy game he's played. Let's see. Like, one of them he's actually pulled off.
Yeah.
If he can do it again, this would be huge. In 3, 2, 1, playing it.
The one he won was not one of the better ones, though. That was the red test one. The red test that was never heard around the world, basically. The strongest spy games were the ones on Gallery that didn't quite work.
Yeah. Hunu has shown a very powerful sniper game, but he's had to.
Yes. Yeah, well put. Yeah, he's absolutely had to stay in this match. And Turnipboy trying to bust through with a cleaner spy game this time, as opposed to just a civ shot, maybe. Trying to become a turnip man. Now's the time. Hey.
There's the first flirt for 34%. A little bit delayed from what you usually see on this map, but certainly not disastrously so.
No, perfectly fine start. And look at all these highlights already. You don't want to lose control of this party too early. If you highlight too many people, none of them stand out. It's like bolding every word in a sentence.
Yeah, it's very true. 2 minutes to play. A slow game from Turnipboy so far, but Hunu has been busy. And it's not doing him any favors yet as Turnipboy steps into statues for that pair of inspects and a fingerprint to go with it.
Yeah, Turnipboy probably going to try to finish here, but if they could take a look at this party from the sniper side, they'd be very tempted to find a framer.
This party is certainly glowing.
Yes, it's a radioactive party.
Stepping into conversation for the second flirt here, picks it up, another white, 68%. Gonna have to make sure we get nice and snuggly for the last one, so we don't have to rely on a green. But look at this, minute and 10 to play. A little bit behind the curve here. You're watching that ambassador like a hawk. As soon as he moves, you have a chance to go for this briefcase.
And that's probably what it's going to be. Yeah, going to try to finish that and do a BB probably with under 30 seconds left.
It's going to be the contact first because the ambassador went to statue. It's the same set of statues we've gone to as well, so we can go back there to lose a bit of feet and pick up that fingerprint. 40 seconds now. The contact has come off. Couple of low lights, but the shot comes off! Turnipboy played it slow and simple, but there was too much going on early on for Hunu. Takes a bad shot, and now Turnipboy from the sniper side has a chance to put this away.
Can't wait to see what happens. Here comes one away. Finally breaks through, as you were saying. And again, it's a civ shot, though. One more game.
Hunu spying for the draw. Turnipboy sniping for the win. In 3, 2, 1, play in it.
Spying for the draw is a scary sentence. It's even scarier if you expand it. Spying for the draw on courtyard.
This is very true.
Against a good sniper like Turnipboy, yeah, that's rough.
You have to find a way to get that one extra mission by. It doesn't sound like much, but it's either a hardtail or a fingerprint, and those are all very guardable on this map.
Turnipboy played courtyard more than any other venue in Season 4 and one sniper at a 79% rate.
Oh my god, that's
Pretty high.
not good odds for Hulu.
Yeah, 70 is usually pretty good. It's a little harder the higher you go. Sometimes 60 isn't bad. 80 is the threshold for really, really good, basically.
Second flirt comes off to 68%.
And this can be a little scary, actually, if you're the sniper, because you know you're supposed to win. You're trying to avoid a mistake. You're hoping the party doesn't kind of screw you over with activity, too, and sometimes it just does. So there's still plenty of pressure on the sniper side. You want to be the sniper, there's no doubt about it, but there's pressure there, too.
Bold contact there, alone in conversation with the double agent. Lets off a couple of lowlights, but not too bad.
Not bad at all. Pretty decent progress here, almost done with the seduce, too.
93% off to the third flirt, which is, considering the distance to the seduction target, not bad. Minute and 20 to play. Haven't been to statues yet. We gotta go now, I think. And Hunu seems to agree.
Yeah, just stand. So far, this is a very standard courtyard game where you make the tough decision at the end. Maybe you give yourself an out by getting a fingerprint in the first minute and a half. That hasn't happened here, so instead, it's probably going to be something like Bug.
Fingerprint at this statue, though.
Yeah, I missed that, and that actually changes things quite a bit.
Didn't get the fingerprint. What? What? Wait, hang on. There was one there, right?
I thought there was, but whether it was or not, it wasn't taken, and now...
Red test on the floor!
Oh, no!
Oh, no! It's all falling apart!
That's really bad. I mean, you were going to have to only have about 30 seconds to decide what to do, what hardtail to do late anyway. It's going to have to be a bug.
That is a bug. Was it clean? I think it was clean.
He's thinking about it. Turnipboy's like, do I shoot? And now you have to rush the... Oh, leaving so quick.
No shot yet.
But leaving so quick.
He's paying a lot of attention. He had to. He didn't get the flirt off. There it is. There's the safety. There's the shot.
Wow.
The last moment. And Turnipboy makes it happen on the last game, 7-5.
And the flirt was clearly the difference. More than 10 seconds passed after that bug. There's no way he could have been confident the flirt wasn't done, especially given that the last one was that red one like that.
Yeah.
He had it. He actually did it. He did the gutsy thing with the bug. It was purely a have to shoot for the bug path. This just looks like what a spy would do, especially based on the timing. But the bug is not actually visible. Gets away with the hard part. The one flirt is the difference. Hunu was right there.
Man, of all the games to lose to a red test,
yeah,
you expect it to be the one with the red contact.
No, the red contact was a win. The red flirt was
know!
And it made the difference. I know. How does it happen? The game, it's a crazy game. It happens when people are just a little jumpy on the sniper. That's how it happens.
Wow, what a finish. This has been a spectacular evening of SpyParty.
Yeah, I would like to particularly compliment, first of all, the players, as I always do, but also our host, Wodar, for picking these matches. My God, man, are you trying to kill...
Yeah, absolutely.
These were exceptional matches in every sense, in all sorts of senses. There was good plays, bad plays, exciting plays, crazy plays, bold plays, and timidity that somehow worked out anyway. It had a little bit of everything tonight.
That red test hurt me on the inside.
Oh, you know, a bear is pointing something out.
Outside.
I should have mentioned this at the time. A bear's pointing out in chat that, yeah, you didn't need a green test on that flirt. You could have just let the action test go.
It was
I-
93%.
I know, and I'm actually a big proponent of this. People mentioned that I'm one of the people who, if I don't need one, I basically never hit it. I like the practice and all, but the thing is, one time out of 50, guess what happened?
Yeah.
That. And in this case, it's not just the difference between a win and a loss in the game, it's the difference between a loss and a tie, which is an actual standings point.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Though the red test does happen 0.1 second after the test begins.
Oh,
That
seems like a misclick, a double
yeah,
click.
that
maybe.
sounds like your
It does,
nerves
yeah.
get to you when you accidentally do a double click instead of a single click.
Yeah, double click. Yeah, that's certainly plausible. That would explain it. Whatever it was, pretty brutal, and sometimes the matches turn on almost nothing.
Yeah. Thank you all for being here, both Uturbo and Utrack, and also everyone
It
in
has been an
chat.
absolute pleasure.
Yes, thank you for coming out to watch as well. Hope you enjoyed it as much as we did.
Mm-hmm. If you play in or watch any good sniper games this coming week, PM me your suggestions, and they might just appear on these streams. Who knows? It's mysterious that way.
It's mysterious. Wodar works in mysterious ways, but send us the recommendations and we will evaluate them. And as I mentioned before, SpyPartyFans.com/signups, you can join this league still. You can join Challenger, play other new players, skill-appropriate players for the most part, and you might end up on this very cast. The more, the merrier. And if you don't want to play, just keep watching. We'll be here every week, Saturdays and Sundays.
Yep. And one last thing, I want to thank the players that we cast. We know that SpyParty is a difficult game, and we thank them for being able to talk about their plays and
Absolutely
get into their mindset, understand exactly what happened.
It takes guts. It's a scary game to play, even when you're playing it casually. So we very much appreciate people
being cast.
when you're not being cast and criticized and picked apart, and occasionally even teased a little bit. So yes, we have to thank them every time for allowing us to display their game.
Thank you once again, the casters, and that'll be a good night. Good night.